All right. Good morning, friends. To start off today, as we always like to do, or as I like to do, I would love to know what are some things that you are actively celebrating inside of your week. I'm on the thank you slide because I just went through the deck. I got to scroll all the way back. But you can come off mute or throw it in the chat or something. Just kind of curious what you guys are celebrating. My big thing right now is we got through Halloween. That was my big celebration. I ended up being a black bear. Nobody shot me, although several hunters thought was funny. So there's that. Cutest costume I saw was also a past client of mine's little girl who is 2 was a turtle and she was the cutest. And both her mom and dad were dressed up as logs, even though they looked like UPS drivers. So that was super cute. So that's something that we're looking at. But I would love to know what are you guys? What's a celebration item from your world? Don't worry, I got time if you guys feel the need to not, share.
Chris said, we're ready for winter. Everything's cleaned up.
You guys, do you know that it, God, who was it? The National Oceanic Association, whatever, has said this will be um, the coldest and snowiest winter like to date or something like that. The National Oceanic Association of Awesomeness. I have no idea what that is. Anyway, it's
No,
totally fine.
Noah, that would be great. We need snow. Andrew said it's the start of youth basketball season.
All right, Andrew. Right.
Hmm.
I took my son on a date and he and I were playing basket or doing the basketball game in the arcade and I realized I can't shoot basketballs. It's absolutely silly. Addie made it into the Christmas story here in Alexandria. So by the way, if you want to see Darcy's Girl in a production, we have tickets, by the way. So as a sponsor, so you let me know and we can get you in, which is a great show. So that's super fun, which is fantastic. All right. Um, 2 week at deer camp. I was waiting for somebody to say deer hunting season is coming, right? It's a national holiday in the great state of in the Midwest, really, right? That's just how we operate up here, which is fantastic. So,
On that note, if you're showing acreage, please wear orange. Please be careful. Don't send people
mm,
out there by themselves. Just a
hey, that's
reminder.
it's actually a really good reminder. I got to put my vest in my car now, so good reminder.
Hmm.
All right. Let's see here. What else we got going on? Okay, so next would be happy birthday, Senior Tom, who I don't think is on the call, but Senior Tom, happy birthday to you. I'm sure he's thoroughly enjoying celebrations of him because he really likes to be the center of attention. So anyway, happy birthday to you, Tom. Couple things we want to talk about that are not so fun is the government shutdown. So unfortunately, Brandon doesn't watch the news, right? Because it's sad and depressing, but this is something we've had to follow. And one of the things we're talking about here is why does it matter, right? So there are a lot of impacts to our industry when it comes to the government shutdown. You got Freddie and Fannie, two of the largest backed securities that are actually coming into the space in order to monitor kind of the space. And now, as of last, I think it was Saturday or Friday, I can't remember. We were just talking about this earlier, right? A lot of the subsidiary services have ended. Even things like EBT cards and funding, child credit care, like all sorts of stuff has is ceased at this point in time. So it's going to be kind of a tough week. In the event of, as I throw my pen around, one of the things you guys maybe want to consider is, and we were just talking about this here in Alec, is taking a look at your local food shelves because they are going to feel the stress and weight of this really really quick. I know, like our executive director here in the Alec, God, they office in Alec, but I think they serve a wider surrounding area. Everybody I know that has talked to her basically says she's in tears because they are like blank shelves. There is nothing, and people are really struggling. And so we're looking at a couple of options. Here I might consider you guys to either do financial contributions or actual donations. They need a lot of help, right? We know there's a lot of food service industry people who are actually trying to kick in as well, right? So trying to give some food at discounted rates and things, but it's still something that's a pretty big deal. So That's off the topic on that. But nevertheless, what does it matter? So the government shutdown as it relates to real estate. Okay. So the National Association of Realtors, your dues matter. And they continue to move forward into this space where they are looking at these areas specifically and they're monitoring them on a daily basis, giving updates. Okay. The EPA. Okay, kind of a big one. HUD, Housing and Urban Development, government-sponsored enterprises, the IRS, of course, National Flood Insurance Program. Not as big of an issue, but it's going to be. Rural housing programs, so anything related to RD, okay, rural development. Any of those funding applications are through there. Same thing with VA benefits, SBA loans and programs if you're working on commercial deals that are tying into the financing from those, and then of course any visa programs. These are across all of the country, really, is what NAR is monitoring us. For our market specifically, we're really going to probably be focused on the National Flood Insurance, HUD, VA, and then rural housing programs. So those four are kind of the big categories that we're going to watch. One of the things you really want to be careful of when you're negotiating contracts, no matter what side you're going to be on, is what type of financing is this thing? And if you're unfamiliar, if you're doing anything VA, RD, FHA, chances of actually getting some approval could be really tight. Because here's what's happened. Why are pre-approvals so important? Okay, especially on the federal programs. You when a client is going in and they are getting their pre-approval, they are getting a spot, so to speak, held in the queue with some of the federal programs. Okay, so when that happens, they get assigned a case number or oh gosh, what I think FHA is a case number. VA is an attachment to their VA number. RD is called something else. Basically, it's a unique identifier for those particular services, and it saves their spot. It secures funding, and it saves that funding for them essentially, right? Which is why the pre-approval process is so important. If the buyer is secured in line, if you will, so to speak, then now you have the opportunity where they can still access that funding because it's been on hold. Okay. Some programs will hold it at application, some will hold it at pre-approval, some will hold it. You have to submit a PA in order to hold those funds. So, like speed is an important factor in all that, which is why it matters. Okay. So, when you talk about that, you want to make sure when you're negotiating that you understand where they are. So, like getting the pre-approval letter, calling the lender, having them verify where they're at in their process is an incredibly important step in all of this to know whether or not funding is in there. Because if you're dealing with an FHA buyer, VA, RD, you're going to start to hit this spot where the closing dates could be very ambiguous right now. Okay. You may want to consider adding clauses in there if you are going to accept one of those that the seller has the right to continue to market the property for sale and automatically kick that deal out or something, right? You maybe want to say, well, instead of an FHA 3.5% down, maybe you want to steer your client into a 3% conventional. Do you know your lender who is a 3% conventional who and has that product of which they can get to, right? So you want to start to be aware that this shutdown, should it continue, which it appears as though it will, is going to have a pretty massive impact on your clients whether and on your closings. And here's the problem: when this thing ramps back up, okay, because at some point the government will start up, right? They'll just print more money or whatever they want to do to magically make it happen. When that happens though, all of a sudden now you go 45 days out from whatever that date is, and guess how many closings are going to be available? And what we also don't know is when will those programs all be refunded? Will it just magically flip back on, or will it be a slow roll of funding back into it? So there's a lot of questions that we don't know. The National Association is monitoring it. The state associations are monitoring it. We are monitoring it. So we're trying to give you as much information as we can, which is why I wanted to talk about it today, because it's a pretty important piece of this whole situation. Okay. Now, so why does this matter for housing, right? So a lot of this we sort of talked about, right? Prolonged shutdowns has ripple effects, right? As it goes through, because there's multiple different government organizations and entities that our industry relies on, right? And the thing is, housing makes up for about nearly 20% of the U.S. economy is around the housing industry. Fun fact for you too, by the way. So common delays that you could expect in some of this: IRS income verification, slowdowns in FHA and VA loan processing, funding interruptions for any of the federally backed programs, and then the suspension of the National Flood Insurance Program. Depending upon our property, especially like Red River Valley area and stuff like that, a lot of that's going to be a pretty heavily affected piece. So these are the four big things, which if I would have clicked my slide forward, I could have told you in a much more succinct way than I just did. But nevertheless, it's a repetitive notion because that's how I operate. So there's that. So if you care, here's a couple things that matter too. So why do your dues matter? Okay. Well, NAR is launching a coordinated advocacy campaign through its FPCs, their federal political coordinators, and really, really pushing Congress into making like, please get us the stuff we need, right? Right now, the big thing they're pushing is reauthorizing the flood insurance program, and then in addition, like, hey, end this, right? Because the flood insurance program, while it affects parts of our markets, you get into different other areas throughout the U.S., and it's a huge thing. They also did launch a specific shutdown website as an update, if you will, which is where this is going to come into play right here. So if you really are like dying to know, and you want to nerd out with me a little bit, you can follow NAR, and then they are constantly posting updates. I think almost weekly updates at this point in time, if not daily, when something substantial happens. So that's what we're trying to get you through inside of that process. Um, I want to ask questions like what are you hearing? What questions do you have as it relates to the shutdown? Have you experienced a delay yet? Kind of give some feedback on what you need or what you have seen as it relates from the shutdown into your business here in the Midwest. Okay, nobody's experiencing anything. Everything's fine.
I will say that being through shutdowns before in my career in real estate, this shutdown seems to be affecting us less overall than previous years has been. Does anybody else agree with me that has been in the industry a long time?
I haven't really seen anything as far as, delays. So,
Okay, good.
Hmm.
I haven't either. You have an FHA one, Brandon,
Hmm.
and they've been moving along just fine.
Thankfully, they secured their spot in line, and I,
Yeah.
but yeah. Okay, good. Well, I'm glad it's not a major effect yet. Again, the more prolonged it is, I think the more of an impact we're going to see. So just kind of keep it in the back of your head. And I would say starting now, right? Like anytime you see that, if you're negotiating, whether for your client or on the other side of the deal, like just verify where they're at. Like, do they have funding secured? Can they go a different option? Maybe your seller's okay waiting, whatever that looks like. So there's a couple things to consider in that. The other thing, if you know that they don't have funding, you maybe want to watch like when your inspection contingencies, like what's the timeline on those, right? Because if they haven't secured funding yet and you're executing inspections, sometimes you're spending money before you necessarily know what's going on. Not that it's a bad thing, but just something to be mindful of as you navigate the best for your clients. So. Okay, well, I'm glad you guys aren't experiencing too many hiccups at this point in time, which is great. And we'll keep monitoring it. If you got questions, feel free to call, text, do all the fun things, right? And we'll have some fun. Oh, I can feel it right here, you guys. It's so good. It's so good. Okay. Uh, Government shutdown. What a ridiculous thing to talk about. Okay, so protect your MLS account. How many of you love multi-factor authentication? Isn't it just the best thing in the world? Yeah, okay. Tyler's smirking at me. I see you. Okay, I know I hate it too, and I'm so sorry, but it's out of my control, and I love you dearly, but you have to do it because everybody's trying to take care of stuff. I was hoping North Star wouldn't do it. Turns out they're going to, and that's just the way that it's going to be. So starting in October, there's a slow roll. And here's the fun thing. When you get required to do this, We have no idea. It's a magical like time frame where it's just going to show up and you're going to have to do it. So it's super fun. But basically, this multi-factor authentication is going to happen every 30 days, potentially more, depending, as we move our laptops to and from, and it takes, new IPs and everything else. It's going to ask you to verify again. So while it says, remember your device for 30 days, don't count on that because we're all too mobile. But just so you know, when it shows up, you're going to want to choose an authentication. North Star is going to say, hey, we want you to have two methods. It's not a bad idea in full transparency, but nevertheless, it's fine. So you have a couple of options. Number one, you can do your phone number, right? Like get the text message with the code. You can do your email. That's fine. Or the pass key. And we're seeing a lot of people kind of switch to the pass key stuff just because it's a little bit easier depending upon which methodology you're using. It can be one touch on your phone and then it'll automatically log you in, which is kind of cool versus like having to get the code, enter the code, do the things, and all that stuff. So just make sure that you know it's coming so that when you get mad at it, you know that we said, hey, we told you this was coming. And it's beyond our control. Like it's just part of what it is. I tried to fight against it. I lost. So believe it or not, the IT security wizards, they won out on it, and that's totally fine. So that's kind of the space that we're in. Any questions on this one?
Has anybody had to do this yet? 'Cause I haven't.
Not yet.
No.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Well, that's good then.
Okay.
Guess what? You get to do it again in case you're unfamiliar. So when you log into CB Desk, this will be an option. You will start to get another multi-factor authentication, which is super fun. You have a couple of authentication apps that you can use. You can use the Google Authenticator app, which is one that I use. I would suggest you use the Okta one. And here's why. Because it'll tell you to download whatever app to your device, and that's totally fine. Create your account within them, verify your account within them, and now you're set to go. But the Okta one, what's neat about it is that it will actually, when you try to log into Desk, you can send it so it'll push notification on your phone, and it'll throw the notification right up, and you just hit the button, and then it'll log you right in. You don't have to unlock your phone, go to the app, find the code or anything else. You don't have to find the text message and then try to copy the code. It just pops up if you allow the push notification, which to me is a really huge win. But again, this will be only for CB Desk, again, which is the Coldwell Banker intranet site. Okay. So this is already started. So if you haven't logged in a while, which I'm sure you all have, because there's great tools and resources that you have available to you. You probably already have this set up, but we just wanted to remind you because the multi-factor authentication is a space that we just can't seem to get rid of. So it's going everywhere and it's great and it's wonderful and hoorah. But if you need help with any of this, please feel free to reach out. We're happy to help you kind of function through this and get set up. It's pretty self-explanatory, but if you want questions or whatever. So again, the Okta is the one I would recommend that you use for CB Desk. I have both, depending upon the app and the tool, but that's the one that I would recommend you use because, again, it allows that single button push notification. The Google Authenticator, I heard they're working on, or I read that they're working on the push notification, which will be great. But in the meantime, suck it up, Buttercup. Out of our control, right? Speaking of Desk, one of the things we wanted to highlight to you guys as well was looking at some of the brand help, right? So if you, because I know, like Keegan, I know she called me and was like, why can't I email the support line anymore? Well, because they took the support email away because we all got really good at emailing help and now they needed a better solution for it, right? So there is something that's called the Solutions Hub that kind of goes along inside of that space. So underneath Desk on the left-hand side, there's the tab or the drop-down, I should say, that's called the CB brand. And then underneath there's this let us help you area. So if you have any questions or you want like customized training on Moxie Present, or you having, your MLS feed doesn't work or whatever, like whatever thing is going on the backside, yes, you can always reach out to us as a team and as staff, and we will gladly help you. If you are in a rush and you just can't wait for us, that's totally fine too. You can go right here, and it's called the Solutions Hub. So you can get on-demand support for any of the tools that the brand provides. So they have product specialists that are available. You can set up like I think it's a 30-minute session you can book with them and basically ask whatever questions you want, which is kind of cool, right? So like if you want like hyper training, and you can do it on your own time. Like, boom, this is it. You don't want to wait for us or whatever else. Like, this is a great way for you to do it. So there's lots of great stuff inside of there that you can begin to look for. So we just wanted to remind you that once you get into CB Desk, utilizing your multi-factor authentication, you go to the CB brand, let us help you, and then the Solutions Hub is right there. So it's kind of a neat little thing, just something to kind of keep in the back of your mind as well. Any questions on this, by the way? Anybody used it?
Do you guys use Boost or Listing Concierge or Marketing Center or Moxie Present? I mean, I think those are the big four that we usually use in the desk brand. So any of those things, if you need to jump in, Boost is available for you guys to advertise on the internet. It automatically posts your stuff. It's a super easy system to use. You can do either personal advertising or listing advertising. Okay. Marketing Center has all of the brand stuff for any kind of marketing that you want to do, including trifolds that you can have sent to a printer, big posters that are on brand and ready to go. I always recommend Faith because I think she has a better eye, but
She
you can
does.
do it in Marketing Center too. Listing Concierge, Brandon uses all the time for his listings. He loves it. It's a really great advertising piece for your listings that kind of boosts what gets sent out there. And there was the other one that I said, and now I forgot what it was. Just a quick overview of the things that are available to you.
Lots of fun things, actually. But yeah, Listing Concierge is my absolute favorite. So, okay. Any other questions on that? Okay, so quiet. This is a lot of push information. This is like
hmm
cognitive overload at some point here, right? So it's a good conversation to have. Okay, well, I'm gonna keep pushing because in the event of time, and I guess that's what you want because you're not talking to me. So okay, November training, agent succession planning. So what's fun about this? A couple of you have asked the question, how do I get rid of my book of business? Great question. Do not just quit. That's the first start. And a couple of people have said, well, what if I want to like scale back, or I did too much business this year, I don't want to do that much. How do I manage my workload? And so we're kind of lumping all of those things into kind of agent succession planning. So this is going to be really focused in on, what does it look like to maintain your business, but yet how do you limit it or scale it back, right? There's a whole roadmap on how we can do that to make sure that you still make money. Because believe it or not, I believe the majority of you are actually relationship based agents, not transactionally based, right? So the relationship based space is going to allow you the opportunity to rebuild. That space in order for how we want to build your business. So as you scale it back, you have the ability to continue to earn revenue based upon those relationships that you've built and nurtured and handled, right? One of those things is our Crown Referral Network. So we'll be talking about that. So if you're unfamiliar with what the Crown Referral Network is, you might want to join us on next Tuesday, if memory serves, at 9. Oh, it's literally on the screen. Okay, next Tuesday, the 11th. Thanks,
Tuesday.
Katie. At 9,
Welcome.
you can join us. You can find the link inside of Bay on the calendar. Did an invite go out on that, or is it just inside of like This Week at Crown and those things?
Yeah, so it'll be inside of This Week at Crown. It's on your calendar on my in my CB Crown on Bay, right? And then I'll send out a link probably the end of the week for this one and the other ones we're doing this month.
Sweet deal. Okay.
Mhm.
So you'll have that. So again, it's a conversation and a little bit of training just for something to think about, right? I'm going to tell you straight up in case you don't come. If you ever think about scaling back your business, if you want to do it and retain revenue, it's a 3-year process at a minimum. Okay. So like it's something you have to cognitively be thinking about. It's not just something you can like turn a switch on, right? Because if you try to flip it one year, it's going to be really rough and it's not going to go well, and you're going to watch your return on your career be far more minimal than what it once was. So we'll talk about some ways to look at that to kind of maintain that space. And again, if you have anything you want us to cover, it'd be really cool. Like send Katie or I a note that say, "Hey, it'd be really fun. Could we talk about this at the training? Could we talk about this?" If there's something you want us to talk about, or you want a training on, just let us know. Like this is literally stuff we do for you, and it comes up because you say, "Hey, what about this?" And we go, "That's a great idea. Let's do that." Okay, so that's what this one is. One of my personal favorites, you guys, is the masterminds. These have become so fun. I love them so much. Because people, you guys give great insights, and I think that's awesome, right? And part of our core values, of course, is that collaborative approach, which I love. And so making sure that we do that is a really good space to be a part of it. So this month, the third Wednesday, which will be the 19th, we're going to talk through writing contracts, specifically amendments and addendums, because yeah, I'm sure Christine could tell you, sometimes we're really good at this, and sometimes we're not. And I understand like it's speed, it's urgency, like there's a lot of factors that go into it. Now, some of ours are good, some of ours are not, but really what I want to spend some time on in this mastermind is talking about what do we want to look for on the other side. My favorite is I got an escalation clause that literally said, this is an escalation clause up to, I don't remember what, like 145 or 150 or whatever it was. And I was like, I literally sent it back to the agent and I said, this is in the nicest way, this means nothing to me. Well, you know what an escalation clause is. I absolutely know what one is. Yes. But the way you wrote this is absolutely terrible. I don't even know what the 150 is. Is that what you're willing to over, above, and pay? Is that your max? Is that your cap? Is that your increment? Is that the purchase price? Like, what are you doing? Well, I just thought you'd know. I don't know, nor does my client, right? So, like, that's part of the issue we're going to talk about. So we're going to talk through a couple of things. I'm going to have a little cheat sheet for you too if you show up, that you can post and be able to have, so that you have a couple of things to just kind of quick run through. Like, does it meet this? Does it meet this? Does it meet this? Does it meet this? Yes. Okay. That's a good clause. That's a good contractual component. So we're going to walk through a little bit of that come the 19th. So hopefully you join. Hopefully you join us, you guys. Like, I kid you not, these are so fun. They're so fun. Just give me an hour of your time. I just want to love you. That's all I want to do. Okay. Last thing before I let our friend Katie take over here is business planning. So believe it or not, George isn't at home, but 2026 is going to, I think it's going to be a great year, you guys. Like, if I'm really honest, right? FOMC just dipped the rate again in case you missed that announcement, right? So we came down another 25 basis points. This was an unanticipated rate drop, too, by the way. So that's a huge win, right? So the federal basis is 3.75 now, which is the lowest it's been in like 4 years, 3 years. I can't remember what the date, the time frame was, but now it's like, whoop, we're back down to good rates. So 26, like, and if you guys remember, like, we had Jason Waugh, right, the president of CB affiliates on, and he even talked about that 3 to 4 year cycle, right? And we are rounding the bottom of that 3 to 4 year cycle. You put on top of that, FOMC dropped rates again, and it's like it's just going to kind of like it's going to skip off the bottom of the market. And 26, I think, is going to be really good, which I'm really excited about. But we have to plan for it. We have to do good things. Okay. And so one of those things is talking about business planning. What are you going to do? Because I believe that you run a business, and I hope that you believe that you run a business too. We want to be able to help you do that. Okay. Two things. Number one, I want to help you. And then we, as a company and as a team, we can't really plan unless you plan. Okay. So no matter what, whether you come to our trainings or whatever else, we need to know some of your goals, right? And I don't care what it is. It can be units, it can be volume, it can be your personal income, like whatever number you're going to meet, like your MD, your managing director is going to come at you and say, hey, remember when Brandon told you we needed a goal? I need one. And fun fact, if you don't give one, I will set one for you. So that's always an option too. But we really want you to be involved in this process and begin to work through it. It's a 90-minute session. We do it's a hands-on session too, I should say. So we chose the afternoon, hopefully that we can kind of talk a little bit more and then have some time, because we will show you, here's how you go pull your numbers. Here's the worksheet. Here's how you do the math, right? Like, help you in this process. And we're going to give you all the tools. Then you're going to have some time to do some homework. And then you can always follow up with your MD or myself, and we can kind of finalize that and fine tune it. Because some people might say, well, I really only have, 2 lead source channels, right? I only have 2 lead sources. Well, it's probably best that you have 5 or 6, right? So let's talk about what that might look like and how you get there. So these are all things that we want to work through. So you will see this in this week at Crown. It'll be on the training. And is there any other pre-work we're going to do for that, Katie? Or are we, I think we're doing it all in the room, aren't we?
So, yep, we're doing it all in the room. If you didn't come to our How to Find Your Numbers training that we did last month in October,
Mm.
go back and I can send out that link when we send out the all team meeting so you guys can see it. It will be 10 times easier for you if you go back and you look at the training on where to find all your numbers so that you can plan for the 2026 business with actual numbers because everybody knows I like numbers, right? It is important. It's not just about feelings sometimes.
It can be a feeling.
Can be. It usually doesn't materialize, but that's
Yeah,
fine.
no, it doesn't. It's totally fine. All right, super cool. Any questions on this? On the any of the trainings? Maybe we'll take a quick pause. Okay. Seeing head shakes, which is totally fine. I would love for you guys to please show up. Like I don't know. Like business planning is so important. We do it, you do it, we should all do it. We can have some fireball at the end of it to, celebrate the fact that we did it. I don't know. It'll be a great time. So, all right.
All right, my turn. All right, I want to run through a couple different stats that we've been talking about for the last couple months. So in particular, we've been talking about market supply stats. But how many of you give stats to clients and your clients have no idea what that means to them? Right? Often your job is to not only take these stats, but explain it to your clients, why this matters to them. And as you're explaining some stats that you might use on a regular basis to your clients, you might realize that that stat doesn't make sense for that client, right? So don't forget, if you're using stats, make sure you explain why it matters to your clients. Next one. October month supply of homes, right? So we've talked about before that a normal supply of homes is 4 to 6 months of supply. Besides West Fargo, none of our markets are there yet. However, all of them are growing. You can see this is for Alexandria Sauk Center and the Crosby Ironton area. And 2023, 2024, and 2025 are all growing. Wait, go back one. You went too far. There you go. Now from September numbers, all of these numbers have grown for all of our areas, except for West Fargo that stayed the same. Okay. So we're still in a seller's market, but we're just barely in a seller's market. Depending on what interest rates do, what inflation does, what if the government continues to shut down or not, all of those things will push into the spring market on what that's going to do for our housing market in general, particularly our supply. Okay, go to the next one. So then this is for our Park Rapids, Fargo, Moorhead, and West Fargo area. Again, all of them are going up. Park Rapids, interestingly, went down from 2024, but Park Rapids numbers from September, from the beginning of the year, right, to now, is still going up. Again, besides West Fargo, we're not quite at a seller's market yet. Sorry, we're not quite at a balanced market yet. We're still in a seller's market, just slightly. Now, does everybody understand what that means for your pricing for your listings? I'm seeing Marv shake your head, yes. For those of you who don't know, when you're pricing your listings and it's a seller's market, you can price a little more aggressively, right? However, you should know that buyers are not, because inventory is growing, there's not as many buyers in the market. And so pricing closer to what your CMA price comes out, or maybe even a little below, is your better option going into a balanced market. Yes, it is still a seller's market. It is nowhere near what it was in 2021. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next one. Why? Why is it not continuing to be a buyer's market or a seller's market? Why is it moving to a buyer's market? I'm sure all of you have heard all of these pieces, but living is incredibly expensive right now. If you are saying we are working in a K economy right now, and this goes into a bunch of economic stuff, which I won't seriously explain, but essentially, the rich are doing well in the economy, and the lower income people are not doing well. Okay. I love that. Whoever did that, that's great. Good job, Faith. I see you're smiling. Um, Living is expensive. This is our inflation, right? Inflation is up. The headline inflation has everything. Core inflation takes out food and energy. Okay. Inflation is up for everybody, which means cost of living is up for everybody. Obviously, those who have money set aside, who have money in stocks or in the stock market are doing fine. But any of our bread and butter homes that we sell, those under 300 market, those starter homes, those are the people that are having problems. Okay. That's the K economy. One side is doing great while the other side's not doing great. Okay. A lot of it is because of inflation. Let's go to the next one. Do, 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 do. This blew my mind. So this is from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and this shows the inflation. When they look at inflation, they look at everything. Beef and veal. Okay, one, who eats veal? But anyway, beef.
Okay, first of all, veal is delicious, by the way. So I mean, who eats veal? Get out of here. It's
You
delicious.
you can go eat your baby cows by yourself.
A veal
Um,
crusted parm, like come on, you guys. Just like Frank
no,
Sinatra ate. Get out of
no.
here.
Oh,
Whatever.
whatever. Frank Sinatra. Okay. Beverages and beef, sugar and sweets, and energy are significantly up in their inflation, which is what's pushing our inflation numbers up overall. But those are our basics we need to live, right? I mean, think of your first time home buyer clients, and if they're spending 15% more on food for their family right now, you think they can save for a down payment? Probably not. This this is why inflation is an issue. Up since when these are based off of beginning of the year compared to last year. So think about that number. Beef is up 15% in a year. My son raises cows with his dad, right? And they just sold two steers for $4,000 each. Whoa. Whoa, that's insane. We were lucky to get 1,200, right?
Oh,
Mhm. If you're wondering why those lower priced homes are not selling, it's because the buyers are struggling financially, right? All right, let's go to the next one. Here's electricity prices. This is countrywide since 2014. Those have gone up significantly. They stayed pretty steady until right after COVID, and then they've spiked. Who doesn't use electricity, right? So we're looking at food prices are up, we're looking at electricity prices are up. And go to the next one. Not only that, but prices of homes are up, which means that your principal payment is up. Look at how much between 2021 and 2025, this is the average, sorry, median payment on a home. You've added $1,000 because prices have gone up, because interest rates raised in those time, right?
Don't
That's a
forget
lot of money.
insurance. Don't,
Oh, good segue. Next slide.
don't forget those greedy insurance companies.
Insurance has gone up. I'm sure we've all heard about it either from our clients or experienced it significantly. That your insurance was going up this spring or this fall, and it was by a significant amount. Who had to call their insurance company when they saw that letter come through and be like, wait a minute? I did. I did. She's like, no, I'm not paying that much for insurance. Thank you. Insurance is going up across the board, and Minnesota in particular, we're on the higher level of insurance costs going up. Now, this is based on June 2025. So the fires in California, you'll see insurance costs are rising over there, but the fires in there, the insurance cost has not risen there yet as much as Florida, Louisiana, Texas, where all the hurricanes have been hitting, right? Those big fires haven't hit into our market yet, which means insurance costs are going to continue to go up. Has anybody had clients have issues with insurance? We just had one where the buyer could get insurance. The insurance company would insure the home, but it then made the buyer not financially able to get the loan because the insurance was so high. Anybody dealing with that yet?
I've heard of one, but it wasn't my clients.
Okay. It's coming. Okay. All right. Next slide. We are about in the middle of all of the average property insurance payment as a state. We're about in the middle. Our insurance costs aren't lowering, but they're not up 9%, right? They're only up 4.8%. With us being in a K economy, as you're talking to your sellers, if you're in that over 300, over 400 range, depending on your market, you're probably safe to price the home closer to what your market came out at, right? Those first-time home buyers, those first move-up buyers, those type of homes, you're going to need to be more aggressive about your pricing because the buyers are not in the same financial straits that the higher end ones are. So you're going to be having two different conversations with your two different sellers, right? And explaining to them, this is why. That's why I show you guys these stats, right? So that you guys have context so you can take it out to your seller and say, listen, insurance costs are up, beef prices are up, all of these things are up. And if we want to make sure that we get your home sold in the right amount of time, we need to be more aggressive about price. Okay, I think that's all I had. Did I have another one?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. If you ever want to dive into more information, the Data Dive with David Arbit is on November 20th this month. He does a really good job with explaining what's happening in the economy nationally and then in Minnesota in particular. And then just figuring out what that means for us and how we move forward. He's also a little quirky, so it's not as boring. So that's fun.
He is quirky. I love David.
Yeah. Is everybody kind of feeling all of this data? Like, did you kind of feel like this was what was happening in your markets, but didn't really know the numbers specifically? Looking at heads, we're not sure, maybe sometimes. You just put your head down and you just sell homes. You don't worry about it. The economy is somebody else's problem.
Kind
That's
of.
fair. Oh, okay. That's all I got for you today. If you ever want to talk numbers, give me a call.
Hard pass. Anyway, the idea, love you dearly. Anyway, okay. So some of you who have been paying attention to some of the new things that Coldwell Banker is showcasing, has to do with a brand new campaign. And I'll be honest, I don't know, Faith, are you talking about this or am I talking about this or?
I can talk about it.
Perfect.
Okay, yeah, so Coldwell Baker has kind of launched this new national brand ad campaign. I think it used to be the Dream campaign that they ran for a couple years, and now the new tagline or theme is Live Well with Coldwell. So they say this isn't just a campaign, it's more of a promise. I think it's kind of just supposed to be taken more literally. So they're kind of celebrating what home truly means through powerful storytelling. They're kind of using the move meter I think they came out with their first national ad for global luxury. Um, and then they've also been using the Live Well with Coldwell ad that they made in the Thursday night football games, certain football games throughout the regular season on Prime Video. So they're also doing that. So this is supposed to position Coldwell Banker as a premium brand, aiming to help clients dream bigger, make smarter decisions, and live better. So this is a great way for Coldwell Banker affiliated agents and offices to become top of mind into the 2026 spring selling season. So on a local standpoint, this is an opportunity to connect national brand power with local community. You can show your version of living well with some of the ready-made campaign videos and static images that Coldwell Banker released, or posting your own community highlights, client stories, or local lifestyle moments. Next slide, please. I just wanted to kind of showcase some of the things that they shared with us, some of the materials. So on the left, they gave out 7 atmospheric short form videos. So they're all like 15 seconds long. I pulled the lake one, which I think is really obviously fitting for a lot of us in Lake Country. And I think it's really a gorgeous video, kind of just really encapsulates that feeling of being on the lake, which is super fun. But there's definitely a couple other ones that could be applicable as well. They also came out with some customizable social images. So they're customizable through Marketing Center on CB Desk. So you can find them on there. You can switch out the background image to something that, suits our climate or whatever. And then they also have customizable Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn cover photos. But I think the ones that they came out with are really sleek and sophisticated as well. So those are also available. Most of these are in Marketing Center. The videos are kind of hard to find. So I made it easier and I just downloaded a lot of the materials and put them in our company Google Drive. So I'm going to share the link if anyone is interested in grabbing those materials. And then I also have a little Google Doc in there that has some other helpful links. There's an activation guide and just some other information about the campaign if anyone's interested. Any questions about that or anything with that? Cool. If you have any questions later on, need help finding stuff, let me know. You can go to the next slide. That's got my email and all that stuff. If you need any other marketing help, let me know. Did it not send the link to everyone?
Nope, it did.
You did.
Oh, okay. Got it. Perfect.
Chris, we will send out that link
Yeah,
in
we'll send it
the
again too.
email when we send the recording as well. Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you, Miss Faith.
Yeah.
A couple final things just as a little bit of a reminder and review for you guys, right? We'll be posting a good chunk of that stuff inside of the Facebook group. So the Team Blue group, make sure that you're in there, and please utilize that. If you got questions, comments, concerns, whatever else, we're in there trying to make sure that we're bringing value and kind of, I don't know, dropping assets and things like that inside of there too for you. So that will be in there. And then, of course, also, I actually love when I see people pull this up. This is such a funny thing that makes me so happy, because this all started because I stole this idea from another company. And I was like, we should put all this stuff on a Linktree because I thought that was a good idea. No idea it would actually take off and you people actually use it. So I'm super thrilled about that. But in the event that you need this, again, I would bookmark this. And let me know if there's something that's missing too, by the way. Like I'm happy to add something. Faith can add it or whatever else too, if we're like feeling, hey, that would be great if I had quicker access to that. So if you need anything, by all means, let us know. And with that, look at that. We're going to be 11 minutes shy of the hour, which is great. So if you guys have any questions, of course, feel free to stick around. Otherwise, thank you for continuing to do great things. This month's trainings are going to be awesome. So please watch your This Week at Crown emails, and we'll continue to do great things as we move forward. So with that, I appreciate you all. I hope you have a great day. And we will talk to you soon. We will officially end our meeting here. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you.